Here you go, dude, bro. Thought you footy boys wanted to have a little throw around the office.
Really?
Foul show. Foul show. Pretty cool boss, huh? Probably going to start calling me the man. The man. The man. Catch you in 20, brah.
Guys, Real Sport, Bar TV.
Welcome everybody for the second test in the Oceania series between the Wallabies and the All Blacks. It's the 20s and it's the best of the best of grassroots coming through in rugby union in Australia. We're at Bond University today and the conditions are very, very hot here. With us today in the commentary box, Mike Wallace. Mike, he's had plenty to do with pathways throughout Australia and New Zealand. And how do you see this one going, mate?
Oh, I think it'll be tighter than Tuesday night. Coach Adrian Thompson made a statement to the boys through the media, saying that he expected more of them. And from all reports, the Australians have put in a couple of good days' work. Yeah, they certainly have. Talking to the coaches earlier on, they plan to play all-out attack against this All Black and run them off their feet. Do you think that's going to work against, I guess, an All Black side who are very, very quick on the ball? Yeah, they are. I think they do need to challenge the line a lot more than they did on Tuesday night. The All Black defensive line tends to be very, very wide and very, very fast. And I think if they can play pretty direct at them to start with and use the skills of their 10 Mac Mason to play at the line, then they'll probably get a little bit more joy when they go wider to players like Tuamafano and Fedek. Well, breaking news as well, Jerd, who was playing at outside centre today, he's injured himself this morning in the warm-up. And Juice comes in, and I think this is a very good thing for the Australian side because we saw him in the NRC, and he adds a lot of space and a lot of expansive play to this side. Yeah, and the other thing Juicy's got is a huge boot out of Western Australia, but playing with the Brumbies now. He's a fantastic goal kicker, and he reads the game exceptionally well, both from 5'8" and fullback. Harley Fox goes back to the bench as well, looking for a bit more of a dynamic back row with Mac, the captain, going back to number 8 as well. That's going to be good for them. Yeah, McLean Jones, he's just a worker. He works incredibly hard, and he just adds that extra dimension of being hard on the ball. So you've got two players who can really play strong on the ball on the floor and hopefully put the Kiwis under pressure. Well, the Kiwis, they've named Fido in the front row. He was an absolute wrecking machine out there on Tuesday night. How do you think that's going to play, and how can they contain him? Yeah, he's a big challenge. He's an enormous young man from Wellington, came out of Scots College. And I think they'll probably look to play him a little bit wider, trying to get some mismatches with the backs out wide and use him as an offload option. He is a big body. I think the Aussies have got to go low. They've got to shut his space down as quickly as they can. And if they can go low on him, put him on the floor, then there's an option for a turnover and a breakout. Yeah, and they've completely changed their backline around. Only Lowe and Barrett, the ones keeping their place in this All Blacks backline. Do you think that's going to add to the spectacle, or do you think they're a disadvantage at all or not? No, not at all. I mean, they brought a lot of players with them. I think they're looking to give everyone a start. The key there, as you said, is Geordie Barrett at 12. You know, he's a great footballer. He's got great vision, and he runs their space game very, very well. Yeah, very good. We had the opportunity earlier on to talk to the coaches and the captains, and we're here live on Bar TV Sports for the Oceania Test Series between Australia and New Zealand under-20s. Well, second of the matches here today, you guys. A little bit disappointing the other night, but plenty to take away from.
Yeah, we were hugely disappointed, but we knew within ourselves we had a lot to work on, and we had a lot of positives coming out of that game as well. Our structure looked good considering we only had a week to work with it, so we'll be a lot better prepared today. Yeah, the breakdown, they seem to be getting there a little bit quicker than you guys. Is that something you've worked on? Yeah, we've got to get tighter, obviously, there in with our runners. It's something we worked on Thursday and Friday. So hopefully that'll benefit us today.
Yeah, cool. A couple of changes won't affect you guys too much. What about the heat, though?
Hopefully the heat helps us today. The ball won't be as slippery. Will help our outside backs a lot more. Hopefully a bit too hot for the Kiwis.
Very good. All the best, mate.
Cheers.
Well, Adrian, second of the Oceania Test Series for the 20s. Your side beaten the other night. How are you going to fix things today?
Yeah, we did a fair bit of work on Thursday and Friday on probably a lot of drop ball, obviously. Learning our new attacking shape, which is something very new to them. But the biggest thing we worked on has been belief and trusting their own ability. Because we got back in that game the other night at 13-10 and let them off the hook when we shouldn't have.
Yeah, greasy conditions the other night. Tonight, totally different. Very dry, humid out there. Do you think that's going to play into your advantage?
Oh, I think, realistically, they've been here long enough to acclimatise to that. I still think the ball will be quite slippery with some, obviously the sweat with the humidity. But it's a great day for footy and both teams will have a crack.
And Juice comes in last minute. Unfortunate to Jerd having the injury there.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a World Cup game this weekend, Jurdy would have played, but it's a good opportunity for Juicy, who we needed to get some time, so I'm sure he'll go well.
Yeah, very good. All the best for the rest of the day.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Cheers.
Well, Lenny, second game today, mate. You played well the other night.
Oh, cheers, thanks. Yeah, we're just looking at getting a step up from last week's the other day's performance.
And a couple of changes. Is that going to affect you guys too much?
No, it should be good. We're just trying to get combinations right leading into this World Cup, but boys should be right there, Hesse.
Yeah, very good. And yourself, your forwards were very good at the breakdown. That's something that's going to be a little bit tougher in the heat today.
Yeah, those Jacobson boys are pretty good over the ball, but we've been out on the sun a lot last few days, so hopefully be used to this heat.
Very good. All the best, mate.
Cheers, thank you.
So, Scott, you've been out on the beach, by the looks of things?
Yeah, it's been a good day. It's been a good week, actually. Good swell. And, yeah, we've had a good 4 days since the last time we played, and the boys are ready.
Yeah, you guys, a couple of changes there. Anything behind that?
Oh, look, we're always planning to do that. We brought 29 guys away, so you come on tour to play, and it's their chance.
Yeah, there were greasy conditions the other night. Tonight's a totally different. Today's a totally different story. How are you guys going to combat the heat?
Combat the heat, that's a good question. I was saying for both teams. New Zealand's tropical at times, and I think we're acclimatised quite well. Important thing for us is if we can execute and take those opportunities we created the other day. We should have a good game.
And after the game, Cavill Avenue, is it calling you tonight?
Not quite. We've got an early start. Oh, look, our young men, there's enough distractions as it is on the GC, so we'll just take it easy.
Very good. All the best, mate.
Thanks, mate. Good call.
Well, we're just hearing the final aspects of the national anthem here. Of course, copyright laws say we can't broadcast that, but we can broadcast this Oceania 20's fixture here at Bond University. It's going to be a big one here with the New Zealand side. With us in the commentary box, Mike Wallace. Mike, how do you see this side? I mean, Ledger and Barrett, they've got to be the key in the back line here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting battle. You've got, I think the opposite 12s are probably hold the key to the game. Two very tall, very rangy inside centres, Nick Juiced out of the ACT Brumbies and Geordie Barrett out of Taranaki. Both around 6'4", 6'5", with raking long boots. They'll really, I think, drive both teams around.
Well, we're going to see the haka now, and you can see them out in the middle. And look at these young kids go. It's an absolute pleasure to watch here on Bar TV Sports. And there we see it, everybody. The Oceania 20's test between the Wallabies and the All Blacks. The Australian 20's versus the New Zealand 20's. The future of rugby in Australia and New Zealand here today. And, of course, we're going to look at now at the team sheet for the Australian side before kick-off. Of course, the Wallabies playing in the gold. The All Blacks, dare I say it, in all black, Mike. And a couple of changes late for this Wallaby side, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Juice coming in. As we see referee Graham Cooper just readying the sides.
Yeah, I think the inclusion of Juice means they might play a little bit more direct with Sione Tuipulotu at 13. He's had a couple of games for the Melbourne Rebels this year and was quite good on his debut. Very strong, very direct player.
And here we go, it's showtime here at Bond University. And it's a deep searching kick. And it's out on the full. So the mistake early on here for this All Black side, this New Zealand 20 side. Auburn Ledger just getting too much on it. The wind is quite fierce here at the moment.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. This first scrum of the game will tell us a lot. The Australian scrum was very good on Tuesday night. They've made a couple of small changes. Isaac Rodder coming in into lock gives them a little bit of extra power on the tight head side. And we'll just see how that goes. I think those two locks, Rodder and McCauley, will add a lot to this scrum this afternoon. Yeah,
definitely. Lomax as well. He was sighted, so he got off that sighting the other day. Wasn't much in it. And he's definitely one for the future. He's one to look out for, Lomax and McCauley as well in the second row in the lock. He's one that takes them forward all day. And we see there the scrum just going down. So this is what the front row love, isn't it? Just testing themselves out early on, Mike.
Yeah, I think the Aussies have had Mario Ledesma up with them, who's the Australian Wallaby scrum coach, and he's put them through their paces this week. It's one of the things that I think Australian rugby has really come back with its scrummaging in recent years after a low point there.
We mentioned earlier on the ball that they got Mac Mason the other day. Didn't get terribly good ball. I'd like to see them play a bit more expansively here today, the Wallabies. The Australian 20, sorry. Fiddick on the wing, he's got speed to burn. And, of course, Kennywell comes in. So penalty early on with that scrum.
Yeah, straight away. The big New Zealand number 3 tight head, Alex Fido, well known as a ball runner, very strong carrier around the field, but just lost his feet at that scrum at that initial engagement, went straight down. The referee had no hesitation in penalising him.
Interesting to see Maddox takes control of the kicking duties here. Of course, Juiced has a wonderful boot, so they've got a couple of options there as well today.
Yeah, and Mac Mason as well as just a very accurate kicker around the field. So they've got 3 options, and then Joey Fiddick with his left foot. If they bring him into the back line to clear out of the back end, it gives them a lot of opportunities.
Oh, that's a poor set piece there. So Taylor there, not the best of throws, didn't really have the options jumping, but they turn the ball over again. Fowler, Mason has it now. Juiced getting the ball, slicing them up early on. As they come around the corner, Taylor gets the ball. We mentioned early on he's a tough player and he's still going. He's got those legs driving. And they go again the same way. Scott Young this time it is.
Yeah.
Scott Young, good run there, Mike.
This is what I think the Australians really lacked the other night, was just playing that direct, hard rugby, trying to pull the New Zealand's width in their defensive line in. They have to play a little bit straighter at them, pull them in, and then attack some bigger spaces.
So it's on now as Juice getting it to Tuipulotu. Fiddick on the wing. Fiddick is covered there by the All Blacks defence, who slide very well, and they come at them on the line here.
And this is what they needed to do. They needed to try and trap some of those bigger New Zealand forwards in the middle of the field and then use those outside backs.
Oh, here's Mason with a long ball, searching. Doesn't find its mark. Maddox cleans up. He's still going. He's elusive. Maddox gets a ball away. Still going on the far side. Kennywell, is he over? Yes, he is. That's a try. Maddox cleans up, gets a brilliant ball away. And the Wallabies, the under-20s Australian side, open up the scoring here at Bond University.
Yeah, Simon Kennewell is a really big customer out that right-hand wing. He'll be tough to handle out there. And I think Jonah Lowe, who's quite an experienced player, he's going to have his hands full today, because not only is Simon a big player, but he's very fast as well and hugely fit after playing sevens.
Yeah, definitely coming into this 20s, this Australian 20 side. A massive boost coming into this World 20 World Cup, I guess. This Oceania fixture, of course, if you are interested in Oceania Rugby, get to all their Facebook, their social media on Twitter, Oceania Rugby, to find out what's going on. Showcasing the best. Cook Islands, Fiji, PNG, New Caledonia, New Zealand. Doing great things for grassroots and promoting rugby throughout the region, Mike.
Yeah. Look, they've got the World Junior Championship with the second-tier sides and the World Cup, the Under-20 World Cup.
We see the replay here, and look, he had a bit to do, didn't he? And scrambled over, rolled over in the end, and that's a good winger's try.
Yeah, I think that New Zealanders will have a look at that, because one of their players took a punt, went for the intercept. If that had come off, it could have been a 7-point turnaround.
Well, Mason has nailed that from the sideline. So already, this Australian side showing their hand. So Ledger has the ball. Made the mistake early on, got the Australians on the front foot. So they go again, it's deep. And it's longer than the first one as Tuipulotu taking it. He's hard to put down.
It's a strong carry. Now they've got to look to clear their end.
So the ball comes back, Mason. They're looking to run. Isaac Rodder takes them forward. Good run. Playing with good width as well here, the Australian side, as Maddox now takes them on.
What Rodder gives them over Macaulay is that big power runner. With Macaulay. Hocking on Tuesday night was an outstanding athlete, but Rodder just gives them more bulk in that carry.
Yeah, just bends them back as now Macaulay takes one forward. The man just mentioned. Scott Young does well to clean out. They're over the ball, the New Zealand side. But doing well there. And that is a nice halfback's little cheeky penalty there.
Yeah, the New Zealanders are really challenging at that breakdown. I'm not surprised. The Australians had 4 rucks in their own back end, put themselves under a little bit of pressure, but the Kiwis just infringed on the edges, and that released the pressure for the Australians.
Maddox gets a very big kick. It almost hits the commentary tent here at Bond University. Of course, the Australian side, sponsored by BMW. Get down to your nearest dealer and test drive one. You'd have one at TSS, wouldn't you? Company car.
That'd be nice. It's interesting that the Australians have gone off here. They were matched up. They've gone to the middle of the line out. Much better throw, much better executed.
Yeah, very well executed. Scott Young running wide. Gets good ground there. Breaks the line almost. Now Macaulay comes around. They go to Tuipulotu. He gets through the other side, but can't go on with it. Scott Young struggling to get back. Mason goes flat. Taylor, good run by Taylor.
Well, it's the second time Taylor and Lomax working together have got over the game line.
So they use the short side. There's the captain there, Jones.
The big difference I've seen so far today is Matt Mason is taking the ball further to the line. So on Tuesday night he was sitting behind the line, passing left and right, picking out his runners. Today he's really engaging those inside defenders and forcing those bigger players to stay or hold in the middle of the field, which is opening spaces on the edges.
Yeah, certainly. The forwards as well, they're playing more direct than they did. They're playing a little bit tighter than they were the other night, and they're running in numbers, and they're getting that second phase play coming.
Yeah, numbers is the key, I think. What they were able to do is create a lot faster ball than they were doing on Tuesday night. and with that, they're able to exploit a little bit more space on the edge. The New Zealanders are still persisting with their wide defensive line, and that's a shape they like. It challenges you to go out wide, and then they try and attack those wider breakdowns and see if they can create turnovers. It'll be interesting to see if the Australians can continue that right throughout the first half.
Well, to win this Oceania Cup, Australia have to win by 21 points.
That's a big ask.
It's a big ask, but they're playing with all intents and purposes here. Mason drives it forward. Oh, and he's nailed that one too, so they go out to 10-0 early on. There's 8 minutes down, and Australia firmly on the front foot here against this New Zealand 20 side.
I just noticed Geordie Barrett getting a little bit of help from the physio just while that kick was taking place as well. It'll be interesting to watch. It looks like he's got his right hand taped now.
So here's Ledger with a big kick. It's high again. Fiddick. He's under it. He's elusive. Oh, he's absolutely belted. Apasai coming over the top. So here they come again, Rodder.
Yep, Rodder. They're just using him as that big power runner in the midfield. They're a little bit slower that time. The Kiwis got a hold of him.
Well, comes back to Mason. He was rushed on the kick. He finds touch, but they're going to have to watch that. There was a couple of charge downs the other night. Plenty of pressure on Mason. So maybe look for that alternate kicker in Juiced or Maddox as well.
Yeah, then that's the challenge. When you're playing out of the pocket, it does only give you one option. I think I would be surprised if they haven't included a couple of other options up their sleeve. They're just seeing how the Kiwis defend there. That's well defended by the Australians. Put them under pressure.
Oh, the big dummy there to Imatini.
It was interesting the number 4 from New Zealand knocked Lomax out of the way as he was going for the 9.
Well, there's Fido there. They're going to have to watch him in attack. The ball coming out now. Ledger takes the line on. But it's good defence by the Australian side. It's the first time New Zealand had the chance to attack here.
Just look at the way that New Zealand fill the whole field in their shape. They've got big forwards in the middle of the field. They're going to challenge the Australian backs out here.
And here's Fido again, taking another hit up. Nice run by Fido. Ball comes wide. Ledger. There's options. Barrett with good hands, but just can't get the ball there to Itama.
See, they created a little bit of space on that right edge. That's exactly what I was talking about. They had numbers if they'd just been able to execute. And it was interesting that probably Tuesday night, that was exactly the same situation. They did create space. They did create numbers. They just failed to execute a couple of times, and that put them under a little bit of pressure.
Well, Jacobson there, almost man of the match the other night for this New Zealand 20 side. He's all over the ball. He's everywhere and showed good skill there as well. So it'll be an Australian scrum. This has been the most impressive aspect of this Australian side over the last 2 tests here in this Oceania series.
Yeah, Luke Jacobson, I think he's out of the Waikato, out of Cambridge, and played some ITM Cup last year. He's a very good blindside flanker, and they'll use him as a distributor in the midfield.
So Juice getting a long ball to Maddox. There's open space. Maddox, he hasn't got support. He steps off the right. He's caught in the end. So Australia now with a good chance to attack. They look to use the ball inside. Scott Young goes without it though. Referee's going to call a knock on in the space. It just opened up out wide there, Mike.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication, unfortunately, at the back end. But as I was saying before, they're going to use Tuipulotu a little bit more as a traditional almost inside centre at 13, taking the ball to the line. Then use Juice distribution skills to shift the ball wider. And we found their Maddox in a big hole on the outside bounce.
It certainly allows them to play with a lot more width, doesn't it? Having Juiced almost as a blessing in disguise for this side.
Oh, Juiced is an outstanding footballer. He can play 10, 12, 15. He actually played wing for the Australian school side last year. He's an incredible athlete out of Western Australia, but now playing for the ACT Brumbies.
Yeah, we saw a lot of him in the NRC as well while he's studying. He played very well for the Perth Spirit side in the limited amount of time he had over there. And this is a better scrum by New Zealand. The ball comes back. Barrett takes one forward. Barrett has made a break. He's got support on the inside, but he goes himself. Gets a little flick pass there. And again, the ball goes one more step too far.
Yeah, again, a little bit of miscommunication. I'm not sure. That looked like the Australians were playing a man-out defence. Mac Mason got caught between him and the 7. They weren't quite sure who had Geordie Barrett, and he went straight through.
Tompkinson there just pushed the pass. I thought the New Zealand side, they could have played with a bit more discipline as well and take the ball to ground. They had a good chance to attack there, and They've come up short, so now Australia have the ball.
Yeah, I'm not surprised though. That offload game is very typical of Crusader rugby and Canterbury rugby, and with the side being coached by Scott Robinson, they'll be looking to keep the ball alive as often as possible. That'll be a big part of their game this afternoon, especially in these fantastic rugby conditions.
Well, certainly a laid-back coach as well, Scott Robinson.
Yeah, the Razor, he's one of the best.
So here come...
That's a lot of pressure through that scrum. The Australians couldn't hook the ball initially, so they've gone Argentinian style and just pushed straight over it.
Yeah, and
that was
good work shown. Yeah, outstanding. And little chip over the top.
Oh, they've got
There's
him
space. Juiced. He gets the ball. He's got options on the outside. Oh, and Tui Paluto goes without it there.
He just threw the no-look pass. He had to see there was a man in the passing lane.
Tui Tama just got himself in between the player and the ball. So Barrett takes one forward now. Good tough stuff by Barrett.
I think Tim Rapp's really done his homework on the New Zealand defensive shape. They're working up fast. That ball's gone out on the full.
So Fiddick looking for the quick one. Gets it. Maddox has it. He's got a bit in front of him. He's got a bit to do. He's strong in the tackle. Oh, it's been stripped off him. So it's going to be a knock on. The ball control there, not the best by Maddox, but did well nonetheless. And I like to think that I think Tim Rapp's looking to play up tempo here today.
Yeah, without doubt. Without doubt. It's interesting behind play. There's a little bit of niggle as well. I think there's a fair bit of feeling in this game this afternoon.
Yeah, well, everything in it. Of course, the Australian side have to win by 21 to take the trophy, the Oceania Cup.
I think the Australians will try and attack this scrum. They had Fido in the first scrum of the game. He lost his footing in about the same point in the field. It was a scrum on halfway, and I really think the Australians will try and promote their loose head here. I think Sione for Art Lele will really have a crack at them.
Yeah, big Sione. Certainly a very technical scrummager.
Angus Scott-Young is really working hard on this blind side as well with his loose head. They've taken that scrum around. That is an outstanding scrum by Australia.
And they win the tight head as well. The little chip over the top. Mason, Maddox.
Kennewell is... Oh, it's just gone too deep.
Kennewell was on the chase there.
And that's a great example of a flanker helping his prop there. Scott Young really worked hard with his loose head prop. Both of them together, working hard, really stopped the Kiwis' ability to hook the ball.
Well, we're going to get a scrum in the same spot, and you can see the crowd there. Here at Bond University, there's a couple of thousand people here to support both sides. A big New Zealand contingent here as well. So we see now a scrum about to get set in almost exactly the same position.
Okay, so Scott Young swapped sides, so the back row have swapped sides now.
Looking to put pressure on the other side. This is good gamesmanship by both sides up front. Both sides having a chat to each other. Josh Taylor, as we mentioned before, he's a tough type of player.
Yeah, Josh from the Southport School. He's a local Gold Coast boy and grew up here on the Gold Coast, born in Wales actually. And he was unlucky to not play Australian schoolboys, broke his leg at the National Championships. At that point, he probably would have gone on with Alex Murphy to be an Australian schoolboy, but he's earned his Australian jersey here.
Well, yucky duck to all our Welsh fans out there. Yeah, good scrum by New Zealand. They hold it well. Comes off the back. Oh, the big long ball. This could be trouble.
Yep,
Tui Mata gets a little kick inside. It races on, and oh, well done there. Liam Wright just gets back there to save the day.
Yeah, the Australians got their line speed up, but they got caught out. Joey Fiddick got caught out going outside in.
And Mason gets a kick to about the 22 there. So not good chance here for the New Zealand 20s to attack the line here.
It'll be interesting to see if the Australians start to see the space that's been opening up because they're going to the pocket with Mason. The Kiwis aren't pushing up as much on that outside edge. If they go flat, they might get some joy running out of their own 22 rather than kicking out of the pocket. Very good line out by New Zealand.
Yeah, they set up nicely, coming short side. Big dummy there. Australia does well to scramble. The big number 8. As they take one off there. They may pick and drive here, setting it up.
There's Fido again. Strong carry. Here's where they'll think they'll go wide now. They'll have 2 or 3 here and then look to use the space with a big forward in the middle of the field, maybe playing at the back to Geordie Barrett.
The big McCarley too, he takes them forward all day as well. He does so again, the big number 8. They'll pick and drive again, this New Zealand side. They're close to the post.
Here they go.
So here they come.
Oh, the winger, 1-on-1.
He's close. Tui Tama it was, maybe a little knock on there. Held up. So the Australian desperation stuff by this Australian side.
Yeah, the Australians actually made some really good decisions around that. They didn't panic. They held their space. They maintained their onside position. They just came forward and made good, strong tackles. What it meant was that New Zealand had to add more numbers into the breakdown to support their own ball, and that got the Aussies out of trouble. But they're not out of trouble. They're not out of their own end yet.
Yeah, we'll probably see a defensive scrum here from this Australian side. As we look now at the replay, couple of phases set. Yeah, definitely held up. Thought there might have been a little knock on over the line there, but definitely not.
So Wright's moved to the open side here. He's scrumming, but he's just a little bit looser on that as a flanker in compared to Scott Young. He's probably not helping out his front rower as much. He's trying to loosen himself off so he can get at the New Zealand 10.
Yeah, Auburn Ledger, very good runner of the ball. Certainly a different player to Perifetta.
Yeah, he plays more direct at the line, and he's quite an exciting player, actually.
Well, you can't miss him with that head of hair out there.
He starts to, he's almost like he's channeling Rene Ranger out there.
Well, there was calls of red foo the other night. So here they come, the New Zealand side. This is good stuff for them, as now Ledger has it. Barrett goes out. They turn inside to Tompkinson. Tompkinson sets the ball up nicely. Here come the New Zealanders.
They've committed 3, 4, 5. The Australians have only got 1 on the ground.
Will they pick and drive? They're close. They're very close here. Stoddart goes again. He's close. They're doing well, the Australian side on the line.
So that was Nick Juiced made that tackle, got underneath and rolled him on his back. I think. Oh, they've gone back for the penalty.
Yeah, penalty advantage was played.
So that's the advantage of having Nick Juiced in the back line as well. He's such a big body, and he's a very, very good defender. So he took that forward 1-on-1, got underneath him, won the shoulder battle, and put him on his back.
It'll be interesting to see what they do. Yes, Apasai, he's pointed towards the sticks. They're going to take the shots. So 10-0's the score. 20 minutes gone, 20 minutes down. And this Australian side, if they can hold off this barrage here, they hold themselves in good stead for the game, for the match.
It's interesting that the New Zealanders have taken the points there. I realise that it's currently 10-0, and they would like to get themselves on the scoreboard, but they had them under pressure, and I thought they might have had a scrum and had a real crack at them.
Barrett, he makes no mistake of it, so the score goes to 10-3 now. And Australia have a good chance now to peg them deep in their own half with a long kick-off. We'll see what they do here.
Chase line's really important here for the Australians. If they can really push up, prevent the Kiwis from running out of their back end, force a line out, and then get an attacking line out option, they'll really, I think, put New Zealand under pressure. That's a really good kick.
Oh, and it's out on the full. Sorry to cut you off, but that is a Cardinals in. We saw the New Zealand side do it off the kickoff, and now Australia has returned serve. Mason, uncharacteristic from him.
I think both 10s haven't realised how strong that wind is. It's coming from the south and pushing straight across the ground. And both 10s have pushed the ball up into the air, and it's been carried across the sideline. That looked like a good kick off the boot, but he just overcooked it.
Maybe watching Coolin go to goal to pump themselves up earlier on. One of my all-time favourite movies too, by the way.
I can see you in a pair of budgie smugglers.
Well, they saw me down there at Burleigh earlier on today. Cleared the water as we go back to the action. Intense out there in the middle.
I think Tim Rapp, the Australian attack coach, he may have been down there in his pair of red budgie smugglers as well, straight from the Shire.
Well, you wouldn't expect anything less from a man with a body like that. And the red-headed tinge. So I think it's a good chance now for Australia to attack this New Zealand scrum again. They've obviously had to play defensively the last couple up their own end.
Yeah, so the challenge here is New Zealand have gone a 3-3 split from the midfield scrum. Australia are using their 9 as a defender on the right-hand side, probably as that first defender, which means they can play Maddox in the back line, at fullback. There they go, they're going to put the ball under pressure onto Maddox's left foot.
Yeah, that was Barrett. There's Maddox. Does the little pirouette. Here he comes. Maddox.
Oh, he should have thrown that pass. He needed to throw that pass
crunched by Barrett.
He's done well, though, to get that ball back.
He did do well. He had support on the inside.
Rodder with McCauley.
So Rodder goes again. Fowler.
Now, they've got numbers if they use them.
So they are using them out wide as Juiced, getting the ball to Kennywell. Kennywell, he's caught.
And again,
Sione call it for it. Sione, oh, look at that defence. That's good stuff by the New Zealand side. So it comes out now. McCauley couldn't get the ball away too. Paluto was outside him. Mason calling for it. Might find touch. No, they go to Lomax. Lomax, good run by him.
That New Zealand player, 5, it took a long time for him to get out of that. Slowed that ruck down, was quite clever actually. Meant the Australians had just take a couple more seconds to reset, and the New Zealand were able to get their defensive line sorted.
And that's a penalty to the Australian side. So a relieving end-to-end stuff almost at the moment.
McCauley's just down. He's getting some attention.
Yeah, McCauley looks like to be in some big trouble over there, doesn't he?
It'll be interesting to see if he does go down, whether they bring on Rob Leota, who is an absolute powerhouse out of the Melbourne Rebels. Just a huge man who can play 6 or 8. Probably they'll lose a lot in their lineup.
McCauley is the injured player for Australia.
Not being able to have Harry Hopkins out there, being able to bring him off the bench, but they'll certainly add a lot if they bring on Rob Leota. Or they could even put Harley Fox into the second row if they wanted to.
Leota looks like he's the man warming up. He is a big mammoth of a man, isn't he? I'd hate to be feeding him at home down in Melbourne.
He's a hugely powerful unit, and was man of the match for the Australian schools side last year in a losing team. Just continues to go. For a man of his size, he's got an enormous engine, and he will just work all day.
Big man. We've seen him in and around the NRC as well.
There was some talk a couple of years ago maybe of converting him to a power winger as well, which would have been frightening for those of us who grew up playing in the outside backs.
Well, that's definitely not me, so I'd be happy with that. As we see now, the New Zealand side, they look a little bit behind the pace today. I mean, the shadows have come across the field, so it's not as hot as what we expected it to be.
No, it's a beautiful afternoon for rugby. It's certainly been an interesting game so far. The Australians, by playing with those big runners in the middle of the field, have actually challenged the New Zealand defensive line. New Zealand have had to commit more numbers to the ruck than they probably wanted to, and that's created some little spaces. Having Kennewell on that right wing, the ball seems to have gone a lot to him, using Juiced as a distributor, and Kennewell being such a big, fast body just really adds an extra threat.
As we see there, he's shaking his head, McCauley, taking his time to get up, and rightly so. Referee Graham Cooper stopping the play. And he's played a very good game today, I guess. Talking about referees, Graham Cooper, he's let the game flow. Nick Berry did a good job the other night as well. So plenty of good young referees coming to it. It's Oceania tournament. It's good for young referees coming through to show their wares as well.
Oh, it's fantastic, and the quality of refereeing in and around Australian rugby now is outstanding, and we really need guys who understand the game, who have got a real affinity with it, to work with the players on the field, and both these referees have been examples of doing that.
So it looks like Harley Fox. Yeah, interesting. As we mentioned, we thought Leota, he did get up, he did a couple of stretches there. But with thighs like that, you probably have to do a few more warm-ups with Leota. So
yeah, I'd say probably Scott Young might go into the second row here. The other interesting one could be that McLean Jones, the captain, he actually played lock against Fiji for Australia A schoolboys in 2013 at 5'9", one of the shorter locks going around, but he played like he was 6'9", so they could even use him if they wanted to.
As we look there at the Australian bench, he seems to be all right. Maybe a little head knock. Quite a big head knock. by the way you look at it.
So Scott Young's gone to the front of the line out. They've gone on to Rodder. Great throw, really good execution.
So Mason gets the ball out in front. Fox running wide early on. So it looks like Fox may have gone to number 8 as Mason again. Tui Paluto gets them to the 22. Scott Young lines up. He takes one forward. Good run by Scott Young.
The two Churchy boys working together.
Lomax lines up. They go to Sione. Sione gets through the other side.
That's twice the Australians have poked their nose through the line, but they just can't get the speed of the ball they want.
Well, Tui Paluto with a good ball to Maddox. Maddox, he's got a bit to do. Oh, it's a great tackle in the end. As now Mason, he's caught.
Oh, Maddox had a 3-on-none there. All he had to do was offload the ball, and they were in.
Great defence by McKeaney, the fullback, as they pick and drive now the Australian side. They're looming, they're close. They go again.
Yeah, the New Zealanders do something very...
and he's over!
Isaac Rodder using his bulk to get over the left-hand side. He just got around that first defender, that post defender, was able to use his size and bulk to put the ball down.
Everyone thought it was going to Mason, and Rodder, he's been so strong early on, just picks the ball up, takes the dive for the line, and that is a very good opportunistic try there, Mike.
Yeah, I think the Australian midfield, with that late change with Nick Juice coming into 12, actually gives them a little bit more balance. Sione Tuipulotu's got a very good short passing game. He's an outstanding runner. And you can see that he created that little short ball to Maddox, just with that ball off his hip. Maddox hit the hole beautifully. And then they just built the pressure from there. The Kiwis were able to slow the ruck down, which forced them a different decision out of the Australians. But in the end, they got the ball over the try line.
We see there Tim Rapp barking orders out there. That's the school teacher in him. As we go to the replay now.
Mac Mason straight down the middle.
Mason converts a try. We'll look at the replay in its entirety here.
We just see that the New Zealanders are able to put an extra body over the ball, slow it down. Taylor has a crack, and then here comes Roddy. You'll see him come around the edge. There he is, just popping into screen. He gets around the 7, uses his body to get over the line.
Yeah, Papali there just didn't have the body height. He went too low, I think, and launched himself, and
yeah, he probably had to come up and attack the football.
Try to take the ball, yeah.
He was too tall there, that close to the line.
So Ledger, with the restart, the score 17-3.
Tuipulotu again with great leg drive in the middle of the field.
So they go wide again, and this is good width again shown by the Australians. Definitely a different side to the one we saw the other night, and Juice had a bit of space, just went without it, and now...
And this is what the New Zealanders do very well. They counter-attack extremely well. Harley Fox has done great work to cover that space. He worked hard from the middle of the field all the way back there and picked up that ball.
Yeah, Tumatini there, the halfback, opened up.
New Zealand going forward at the ruck there. Harley Fox was caught. The Australians couldn't get it back. New Zealand going forward, it'll be there, put into the scrum.
Testing again now for this Australian side. They've done well. They've shown defensively they're well up for it here at Bond University.
And this is where we'll see a change in the middle row of the scrum. It looks like Isaac Rodder's gone across to the other side. Scott Young coming onto this side. So he's coming onto the loose head side here. Isaac Rodder gone to his more favoured tight head side of the scrum. We'll see if that has a little effect on balancing the scrum there.
But Harley Fox, yeah, he's playing open.
Fox has gone to number 8. Oh,
he's there.
Oh no, he's gone to open side.
So Tuimatini steps away. He takes it himself, and that's a turnover there, and Fox comes up with a good steal. Gets it to his captain, Jones. Fowler has it. Fowler gets it back to Maddox. Maddox
has a cannon for a right foot.
Oh, that is composed stuff there. He's under a bit of pressure, and Ledger couldn't do anything with it as it bounces over his head.
Interesting player, Maddox. He didn't play first 15 at school, instead choosing to play cricket, and really came to rugby late. He was at Scots College, an outstanding athlete at Scots in Sydney, and decided to come to this sort of level of rugby probably a little bit later than most of these guys who came through first 15 rugby at schools.
We're playing first grade cricket for the Eastern Suburbs Club in Sydney Shute Shield, and of course first grade cricket for Sydney University. As that time Lowe takes a A much-needed hit up there for this New Zealand side. And they come through on the ball, the Australian.
That's a great counter-ruck. They recognise that New Zealand didn't have enough numbers over the ball.
So here they come now. They counter-attack. Tui Peludo on the far side. Scott Young takes one up. He's by himself and he gets through. That's a good damaging run again by Scott Young. Sione, that's a poor ball by Fowler, to be fair.
Yeah, Taylor slowed that ball down enough for the Australians to get the defensive line set. But here they just could get exposed on the outside edge. Oh, no, Barrett's knocked it on.
But it's going to be a penalty anyway, the Australian side creeping forward.
Yeah, Taylor did well there. He recognised that they were under a bit of pressure. He had to slow that ball down to give his defence time to reset, and he did it. But they just jumped the gun on the left-hand side. They probably needed to be patient. They'd worked themselves into a good defensive position.
So Ledger, nice touch finder there. Gets them to 22 out. I've been impressed with the New Zealand line out here today.
Yeah, their line-out functions incredibly well. It'll be interesting to see what they do for the World Cup. I think they've left some of their better locks back in New Zealand playing Super Rugby, which obviously bodes well for their depth.
Comes off the back, the Australian side win it. Mason has it. Plenty of time to punch the ball downfield. And there's nobody at home, and the chase is pretty good by this Australian side is low.
Yeah, the Australians have started to organise their line now. They pushed up. Now they'll put this under pressure.
McKinney gets the ball downfield, up towards halfway.
That's a pretty good net gain for the Australians. The New Zealanders threw the line out on or about the 22. So, you know, it was actually quite a good lift. It was a very good lift at the front. The throw just was too high and missed its target, and that sort of let the pressure off the Australian line out. And Mac Mason, again, with his cultured right foot, really cleared the space well.
Does he call his right foot yogurt?
I've heard that before.
So here he is again, Young.
Very
ball
good
off the top. Nice line out, as you said. Mason to Juice. Juice getting the ball behind him. Mason, little handoff there to Fiddick. Fiddick caught in a bit of traffic as the forwards come across. And there he is again. Oh, Rodder. He's damaging out there today.
Well, it's just gone through Mason's hands, but...
Fox, look at him go. He gets through the other side. Fox, he's still going. Consolidates the ball as they come over the top. Mason now gets the ball to Jones. Mac to Mac.
And that's the speed of the ruck that the Australians need to work with. If they can speed, they can work off that 1 to 2 second ball. They'll really challenge the decision-making of the New Zealanders.
Sione goes wide there. Trouble. If they counter-ruck here, the New Zealand, they do well. And they come up with a turnover. Ball goes wide to Barrett. Barrett, tries the flick pass. Fiddick comes in off his wing.
That was pretty amazing by Geordie Barrett. Helps if you're 6'5". You can sort of half throw that ball and then pull it back in.
The New Zealanders, they're just
I think the
slow to the breakdown here.
The Australians,
well, they come back.
They got in. Oh, good clearance ball.
And Tompkinson, he'll get the ball in the boot. Another one with a big boot. Oh, trouble there for Maddox. So now Maddox counter-attacks. Gets the ball inside.
That's to right.
Fowler's still going. Goes back outside. Scott Young has it.
Great
and he's taken to ground.
Now the Australians have really used some width here. Oh, it's just a poor ball again. Poor balls put them under pressure, and that's probably the thing this afternoon. They've wasted some opportunities with just a poor ball from the back of the ruck.
Yeah, definitely. Young, unlucky there. Not his fault. The ball from the back wasn't the best. A little bit disorganised after the counter-attack, but in any case, it's all Australia at the moment. They had a heap of pressure up the other end there, and now the pressure's back on this New Zealand side to get out of their own 22, Mike.
Yeah, I think the Australians are really going to have to go after this scrum. Here's an opportunity. They know that a couple of times earlier in the game they've been able to put that tight head side under pressure. If they really go hard after them now, they can disrupt it. They'll be looking for. They've got a right and left foot combination in New Zealand for clearing, but there the Australians jump the gun.
Yeah, short arm Barrett. He's got a massive boot, and he makes good use of it as it gets up towards the halfway and bounces out over the touchline into the crowd.
And that's so frustrating, I think, from a coaching perspective when you see that, because they've worked so hard to get themselves into that position. They just had to show patience with their scrum setup. put the New Zealanders under pressure, and they might have got some joy. But instead, it's a relatively easy clearance, and Geordie Barrett uses his long right foot to push him back out to halfway.
Yes, very good as Young. He's been on the money today, but Rodder really the only option out there for this Australian side.
Yeah, they've gone to right. That's twice now, and probably
Poor
unexpected.
ball to Mac Mason under amount of pressure. You don't like to see that for your fly half, getting a ball up there, because that could remove a couple of ribs.
Yeah, he was certainly under a bit of pressure there. Fowler's just coming up a little bit on his pass at the moment. It's just floating. He's throwing that ball from the western side of the ground. He's passing that into the wind, and so the wind is causing the ball just to float a little bit. Maybe Mason's got to close his space down a little bit when he's standing on that side of the field, and when he's coming from the eastern side of the ground, he can probably afford to extend himself a little bit, and the pass will become with the wind, it'll hit him a lot smoother.
So 2 on the short side for New Zealand. Ledger has a pretty flat back line, so expect the kick maybe.
Well, New Zealand have gone to a 4-2 shape. If they go 8-9 right here, no, they're going left.
They go to the left, as now Ledger has it, uses it. Barrett troubled there. Low, kick over the top. We know he's fast as Wright comes through again and saves the day for the third time out there.
It's great line speed by Nick Juiced on that strike shape to put a lot of pressure on him there. Nick Juiced, a big body, and he pushed up hard, put Geordie Barrett under a little bit of pressure, and that probably stopped their ability to penetrate down that left-hand side.
Well, Juiced, he's been labelled as one of the next big things in Australian rugby, and he's certainly showing so out there today.
He's making some great decisions, and he's working really, really well with his centre partner, Tuipulotu.
He's got really good soft hands as well, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's a tremendously skillful player, and one of the things I really liked about him, watching him come through, is his work ethic. He works so hard at everything he's passing.
Oh, Wright comes up with the steal. Sorry to cut you off. So again, the Australian side, they're all over this at the moment. Scott Young, he's met in a very heavy tackle by Makali Tui, so they turn the ball over. Barrett has it. Inside ball to Tompkinson, outside now. Looks like they might come up with a turnover here, the Australian side.
Yep,
and they do.
It was interesting, that's the first time that Scott Young hasn't been able to put his shoulders right through the defensive line there. And the Australians, because he's been doing that so effectively, probably didn't chase numbers into that ruck. But they were able to turn the ball over again, which is outstanding work out there.
Taking nothing away from Tuitama on this wing here, but they certainly are missing Emerson out there, this New Zealand side. We saw the other night, he scores tries from anywhere. Very fast, stocky winger.
Yeah, and I can understand the New Zealand coaching staff wanting to give everyone a start. You know, they want to win this game, they want to win this tournament, but they're also using this as a building block for the World Cup. And they want to see what guys can do when they're under pressure.
And you can see that sun coming down behind us as well. Great work by the Bar TV production crew. Of course, get in the game.
That was a good lift by the Australians. It wasn't the best throw, but Rodder worked really, really hard. They lifted him well. He was able to win the ball.
Plenty of pressure on Mason again as well, so bit of a spring in the step of this New Zealand side as it comes back now to Juiced. Juiced. It's coming towards the tent. Oh, great catch in front of us. Take your hat off. There he is there.
Man in the Northland T-shirt, the Northland Taniwha, representing here on the Gold Coast.
Nice work, and the crowd love it. It's a big crowd here today at Bond University. So it's going to be a New Zealand throw.
It's interesting, they're bunched right up on the 5 here, both teams. You should look for a fake and maybe a track back to the 15.
They go back and it's spoiled again. To Makali too, as the ball comes now to Ledger. Barrett, Tompkinson, and there's Lowe on the far side. The ball goes behind him though.
Just gone without it there.
It's scrappy. So the ball's played out after all that.
It was one of the things that was really obvious on Tuesday night with the New Zealand sides, is they run from depth but they play flat, so that when players are hitting the ball, they're hitting it at speed and they're carrying that momentum into the line. We've probably seen that in the Australians this afternoon. That's, I think, been the biggest change in their attack this afternoon, is they're carrying a lot more momentum into the line, playing from a little bit deeper, using players like Sione, Tuipulotu, bigger bodies, and they're just creating those little mismatches in the midfield.
Yeah, they certainly are. We see Tompkinson out there. He's in a bit of trouble. Looks like Perifetta might be coming to the field. So Ledger, he'll probably switch now, I guess, to inside centre or outside centre.
I think they'll probably, if they do, they'll leave Geordie Barrett where he is. I'd imagine they'll leave him at 12. He's a key ball distributor for them. He's also that first option on the right foot. They can go right with him. They can go left with Ledger. So it looks like he's in a bit of pain, but I'd imagine he'd want to stay on the field. No, it looks like they're walking him off.
Yeah, they replaced him pretty early. We saw the man come on the field, Perifetta. So this will certainly add something to this New Zealand attack. Very good runner of the ball, very good distributor as well, Perifetta.
Yeah, probably a much more direct and much stronger kicking game than Ledger. Ledger's that real fast, player at the line. Perifetta probably offers them a little bit more in the kicking department. And it'll be interesting to see now if Ledger and Barrett sort of interchange between in and outside centre.
Ball coming off the back. Here's Lowe. Lowe driving those legs forward. Good run by Lowe, the winger coming in, taking the hit up. They go straight to Perifetta. He's dancing, he's jinking. Can't get a ball away. Bounces off the top of an Australian player's head into the arms of Tui Martini. They've come up with a turnover
the Australians
here.
Got the turnover. That's a good one. Now they've recognised the space.
So they go short side. Tui Paluzzo.
That's another great example of a body in the ruck.
Maddox off the left boot. It's in the crowd again.
And Maddox showing the full array of his skills that he's got. Right foot and left foot, both of them cannons. That's an excellent half of rugby.
Yeah, great half of rugby there. It's going to be half-time. 17-3 to the Australian side. They certainly look like a different side here today. We're going to take a quick break on Bar TV Sports. Of course, this broadcast brought to you by Oceania Rugby and Top Better. Get in the game with Top Better for all your tournaments and fantasy tournaments out there. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with you shortly. And, of course, the Australian side brought to you by BMW.
Here you go, dude, bro. Thought you footy boys wanted to have a little throw around the office.
Really?
Foul show. Foul show. Pretty cool boss, huh? Probably going to start calling me the man. The man. The man. Catch you in 20, brah.
Real guys, real sport. Bar TV.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back, everybody, here at Bond University. The sun is setting. I'll tell you what's not setting. This match coming towards the second half. And with us up in the commentary box, Mike Wallace. Mike, pretty good half of rugby for the Australian side. They're totally different from what we saw on Tuesday night. I think the conditions definitely suiting them at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's been an outstanding game. The New Zealanders have had opportunities. They've had a lot of opportunities to exploit. Probably a little bit of execution stuff is maybe what they'll be talking about at halftime. I think their coach, Scott, will be talking about the fact that, you know, the Australians are playing far more direct with bigger bodies coming at them. We've seen in that half. Later in the half, Harley Fox coming in for the injured Ryan McCauley, working really hard. He's well known as a ball runner. Isaac Rodder, Scott Young in the midfield. Those guys are really forcing the New Zealanders out of their comfort zone in the way that they defend. They don't want to commit bodies to the ruck, and they're having to, because the Aussies are throwing big bodies at them.
Yeah, definitely. And they're coming through the other side as well, which we saw the other night. The New Zealand, they looked a step quicker, I guess, in defence than what they are today.
Yeah, and what that means is that instead of being able to play with sort of 14 on your feet, so you've got 14 players across the park and just a tackler on the ground, the New Zealanders are having to commit 2 and 3 to the tackle. Then they like to commit one player over the ball, just trying to slow the ball down, what they call a grub player in there. And then they're caught with 3 or 4 on the ground rather than just one. By having that 3 or 4 on the ground, it's actually creating spaces that players like Nick Juiced and Sione Tuipulotu are able to exploit.
Yes, and it's a massive crowd here. The kids are enjoying it. Of course, the famous burgers here at Bond University, they're getting a workout too. But none more than, I guess, Oceania Rugby. It's a showcase of Oceania Rugby, and Oceania doing great things for developing rugby, not just in Australia and New Zealand, but all around the Pacific as well. How important are competitions like this?
Oh, you know, hugely important. I think for these two sides in particular in preparation for the Junior World Cup. But Oceania Rugby, if you think about how many players in both teams have come from some of those Pacific nations spread around the Pacific Rim, and you know, even sides like the Cook Islands now, you know, they've had some success at sevens rugby, and they're really starting to grow their 15-a-side game as well.
And we see, I guess, Samoa coming back into the top flight as well, just recently after winning in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, the Samoans, you know, they've got such wonderful players, big bodies that have got great feet. They work really, really hard, and they just need a little bit of constant development, and they'll be a real threat.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, the World Under-20s Cup, I guess, being played again this year in Manchester. And all our viewers around the world on Bar TV. We've got viewers in New Zealand, the UK. They'll be looking forward to seeing these sides obviously go to Manchester and put on a display like this. With New Zealand, I guess, they've left a lot of their good stock at home. It'll be interesting to see who they take over there.
Yeah, I mean, they've left 10 players who are Super Rugby quality back in New Zealand. I mean, they're committed to their franchises at the moment. It'll be interesting to see if they can play this sort of rugby in Manchester. You know, I mean, we are in paradise here at the back of Burleigh at Bond University. It's a beautiful part of the world, hard, flat pitch, just fantastic for running rugby. In Manchester, they may not meet the same sort of conditions.
We're going to go to a quick break now, and we'll come back with all the second half action for you at Bar TV Sports, brought to you, of course, by Oceania Rugby and Top Better.
There you go, dude, bro. Thought you footy boys wanted to have a little throw around the office.
Really?
Foul show. Foul show. Pretty cool boss, huh? Probably going to start calling me the man. The man. The man. Catch you in 20, brah.
Guys, Real Sport, Bar TV.
The Australian team.
Well, we're back now here for the second half of actions. We see the Australian side coming to the field, just leaving this New Zealand side hanging a little bit out there, a little bit of gamesmanship at half-time. You can imagine Adrian Thompson. He's probably fired a rocket, even though they put on a pretty good display at half-time there.
Well, he certainly fired a rocket at him in the press after Tuesday night's performance. Tomo not really known for firing rockets, more the evil eye, quiet word.
So here we go, second half action. Mason with a big high kick. It's accurate. It's on point, but New Zealand, look at that. That's perfect execution.
Yeah, Mason gone straight, kicking with the Kiwis' eyes into the sun. The Australians are short here on the right-hand side. The Kiwis have used the box kick straight back to Maddox, who's well positioned.
Yeah, Tuimatini putting it on. That's one thing about Maddox. He's always there or thereabouts as they go to Fiddick.
One of the things, Joey Fiddick, he's another Northern New South Wales product out of Alstonville, and then went to the Southport School. He's got electric feet. They probably haven't used him enough yet.
He hasn't seen too much of the ball, but that man there has Scott Young. Takes another powerful hit up, setting the platform as Mason now gets it to Lomax. Lomax charges forward. Good run by Lomax. Mason now, they've got a bit of trouble there if he gets isolated. Tui Paluto, he does well holding them up in the tackle.
Yeah, this will be the challenge for the New Zealanders. I don't think Ledger and Barrett would have played in the centres much together in playing in that sort of unfamiliar 12 and 13 position. So for them to get the communication right will be a real challenge for them.
So the ball spat out there, and Rodder takes another hard-hitting run forward, and that's a high kick there into the sun, and Lowe does well under pressure, but he's caught. They're going to have to get around him here, the New Zealand side, and they do just that.
Yeah, Barrett ran a great blocking line there for Lowe. They just meant that the Australians couldn't get a body right onto him. Well, they found space in behind here.
Yeah, Perafita goes behind Kennywell. Kennywell just sees it go over there, goes for the quick one. Straight back to Maddox, and Maddox high, keeps it in the field of play, though.
Yep, so quick line out again. They were out, so they've gone for the quick line out. No.
It's come back there. And it's been taken out, is the call.
Yeah, so it was from the quick line out, so he said the ball's gone out.
It's going to be an Australian throw, is it? By the looks of it, it's a scrum.
Yeah, he's saying that the throw was incorrect from their Low had 1 foot in touch, but then didn't go into touch to put the ball back in. So he kept his foot in the field of play when he threw the ball back in. Look, it's a difficult one, you know, one of the ones that the referees often let go. But technically, I think he's correct there.
Well, Graham Cooper showing he read the rule book early on today, and as you said, it's a technicality. So the New Zealand side had a good chance to attack there. Now Australia just over halfway with the scrum. Short arm penalty early on. Comes straight back to Jones. Jones didn't tap the ball, did he?
Yeah, he tapped it off his knee there. He's got to tap it from the mark. So
lucky.
Very well, yeah. I mean, the referee sort of sent him back and said, you must take that from the mark. And again, the New Zealanders under a little bit of pressure at scrum time. The Australians going to have another crack at them here. You know, it's pleasing to see the Australian scrum. I think Mario Ledesma's had a huge impact, and Nick Henderson, who's the scrum coach for the for the Australian 20. Sorry, pardon me, Hendo. He's doing a great job as well here.
You'd just be happy to hear his name on the Bar TV coverage here.
Oh, he's a great man, Hendo, and a really good prop. He was a really good prop, a really good scrummager, and an outstanding coach working with the Rebels.
So we see Stoddart coming from the field now.
I think Hendo was a good Southern Districts man from Sydney originally. Another one from the Shire, him and Rappy.
For New Zealand in the front row.
So Johnston coming on the field for the New Zealand side, and the scrum just going down, and you can see Young right at the bottom there. Didn't look too good for the hooker. Sorry, Taylor it was.
Yeah, Johnson's another one of these players who's quite interesting. Even though he plays in the front row, when you look at the New Zealanders' shape, he tends to play a little bit wider. He's a very good ball distributor, and they can play off him and out the back to one of their backs working a little bit wider. It'll be interesting to see where they position him in their shape.
Well, they have to come up with some phase play before that gets implemented here.
Oh, that's a great scrum.
Here
really
come the Australians.
This is one for the purists.
There's Kennywell. Kennywell steps off the left and gets through. Almost to the other side now. Mason, he's set wide. Cuts out Juice, goes to Maddox. Fiddick on the far side. We know he's quick. But that's good defence on the far side by New Zealand. Oh, that's a little knock on there.
Yeah, just when they were going in there to clean out, get a body over the ball, I think we just a little hand as Fiddick was trying to present the ball. And that's offered an opportunity now for New Zealand to take the pressure off and probably counter-attack a little bit here. And
interestingly enough, the lights are on here at Bond University.
Yeah, Queensland, it does get dark early. It's always a great afternoon coming out on a Saturday afternoon watching the Bond University Bull Sharks go around. Playing in the Brisbane Premier Grade comp. It's great having Premier Rugby on the Gold Coast.
Well, the little canal in the background there, I didn't realise there was bull sharks in it. I had a little dip there earlier on, and our producer reminded me to get out.
And get out quick.
Plenty of heckling going on in the crowd as well.
Yeah, that's the Bond Pirates. Bond Pirates under 7 coaching team there walking past. There's plenty of heckling going on.
Imagine the poor kids. As we go back to the action now, the Australian 20s dominating this match so far. The score's 17-3. Ball comes out. Inside to Barrett. Barrett with a nice ball to the outside. Flick pass to Ledger, and Ledger just went without it. So now Tui Peludo has it. Kennywell's caught.
So that's the second time they've used that 1-3 switch option with Barrett coming through the middle and then looking for the offload quickly. I think that was one of the things. Australia's biggest challenge, I think, in this half, with the fact that New Zealand have got 3 genuine ball players in the midfield, is going to be containing Barrett's offloading game. He's such a big body. He's so quick. And he can now look to distribute. They'll probably use Lowe as a bit more of a battering ram, since they haven't got a genuine inside centre now playing at 12. But Lowe's still, Barrett's going to remain a massive threat, just that one pass further out. Australia here gone to a 4-2 split. They could play right. They're going 8-9 right, and that'll give them a 4-on-1 with Lowe. And Lowe will have to push up, and then their New Zealand fullback will have to come across. It'll be interesting to see. They've got Maddox first.
Yeah, they're going to go that way.
Right.
Fowler has it. Little kick through. Kennywell chasing through. Not too much pressure there, though, on McKeaney as Mason comes back for it. It's a very good touch by McKeaney, the fullback from New Zealand.
Well, the Australians have changed their kicking game. That's 3 times they've kicked now. That's twice they've used high balls coming out of their back end, and then a grubber kick. They're playing into a moderate southerly, which means the ball's not going to travel a long way. The problem with a little grubber like that is if you don't quite get it into touch, It sits up. It's just what happened there. It's relatively easy pickings.
I thought Maddox there as well. He was a chance one-on-one.
Yeah, I think they could have continued that drive upfield.
In any case, there's a line out. They get the ball back. Fowler has it. Off the back, it goes wide to Fox. Fox. Again, hard contact there out in the centre.
That's the
Scott Young comes around. Scott Young stepping off the ride. Look at the skills there over the 22.
Yeah, he's just a big, abrasive customer.
Good on his feet for a big man. That's a good kick by Maddox. Goes towards the touch line. Confuses McKeaney on the far side.
I think Scott Young may have gone close to being dux of his school as well. He's an intelligent young man, keen to study medicine. Big body, really tough, abrasive character, but one of those really well-rounded type of individuals.
Well, his father's here today as well. I saw him floating around with a nice jacket on as the ball comes in.
Oh, the Australians have won that. Wright's been he's been hugely valuable in the line-out, to be honest.
Damaging the light body.
Yeah, well,
throwing him up.
Since Macaulay's come off, I mean, Wright's they've thrown 3 times to Wright and only once to Rodder since Macaulay's come off.
So it'll be a scrum to Australia as we look at the coaching staff there for the Australian side.
Yeah, it'll be interesting now that the Kiwis will start to see the threat that Wright is. I wonder whether they'll start using McLean Jones as an alternate line-out jumper as well. He hasn't been used yet this afternoon. And he's also very good in the air. He's got great dexterity and they can throw to him or use him as a lifter.
Tui Peluto's got that knee heavily strapped coming into the second half as well, so he may have picked up a little bit of a niggle.
Yeah, I did see him go down awkwardly in a ruck just before half-time. It'll be interesting to see if that has any effect.
Look at this scrum again by this Australian 20 side.
Yeah.
They come forward.
Yeah, the New Zealanders have stood up. They've stayed square, though. They've stayed square, so no penalty coming yet, but the Australians are putting them under pressure.
Great control comes to Mason. Mason inside to Tui Peluto. And great tackle round the bootlaces. And Mason comes around again. Inside ball. And again, Fox makes good metres up the middle.
Yeah, that New Zealand player was the halfback just laying the ruck. That's the second time of the inside ball.
And Rodder goes again. Good run by Rodder laying the platform. Maddox has it. Gets around. He's still going. He's on his feet. He's crawling.
If you look at the far side of the field now, New Zealand have got nothing but tight forwards stacked in the midfield.
Here comes Fox with an offload to Lomax. Lomax inside. Scott Young. Very close. They just needed one quick man as it goes to Mason. Juiced, hands,
great delivery.
And it's going to go to Fedek, and Fedek will score. What a try, what lead up, and that's great rugby there by the Australian side.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. The New Zealanders got caught with just tight forwards defending on the right-hand side. The Australians recognised that. Ball to Juice. Juice distributed really, really well, and it was just simple hands, put the ball in the corner. Well done, Joey Fedek.
Joey Fedek, we know he's got lightning shoes, jet shoes, they call him.
Yeah, he's certainly... The thing about Joey Fedek that I remember from him as a schoolboy is his ability to change direction without losing speed. He's an incredible little footballer. He plays well above his weight, and for his size, he's a pretty big hitter as well.
I think he scored a couple of tries in the Super 20s final as well. As we go to the replay now.
You'll see that it's nothing but tight forwards out there, and all they did was do the numbers. Fedek with speed, early dive into the corner.
That's a classic wingers try there for Fedek, and that's a name you can remember coming into the future. He's got a big future ahead of him. Very quick, as we see Mason now. We see a young kid jump off the grandstand on the far side. Went flying.
Joey Fedek initially out of Alstonville, or Joey Fedek's out of Ballina, but Jake McIntyre running around at fly half for the Queensland Reds at the moment. He and Joey Fedek, schoolmates down there before Joey Fedek moved up to the Southport School, and both club members as well at the Sunnybank Rugby Club.
So that's a first miss for Mason today. He's had a very good boot, and there's Tim Rapp waddling off the field. He's certainly not in the halfback shape he used to be.
No, certainly not in the shape that he used to be when he was running around with the Waratahs.
It's a Perifida.
Singleton Bullsman Tim Rapp.
Gets the ball. It's a nice long kick there. Kennywell's well balanced to take it, though. He'll take a hit up. Ball in hand is obviously the message to this Australian side as it comes to Mason. And here's Fox again. He's been damaging since he's come on the field. Goes back to Maddox. Maddox with another high searching kick. McKeaney is under it. Well placed. Good chance to counter.
Yeah, really good tackle out there by Tuipulotu. So the Australians had an excellent defensive line set, and they've forced the turnover in the tackle.
Yeah, knock on there by McKeaney.
And just that ball hanging up in the air, kicking a little bit higher, allows the Australians to get their defensive line organised as they're chasing upfield. It makes it harder for the New Zealanders who like to run off that sort of unstructured ball that's kicked to you. If you've got your defensive line set, it just makes it harder for them to penetrate and gives the Australians a chance to have a crack at that first ruck.
We'll see Leota there. He's warming up, threatening to come on the field. And they'll know it then. Good to come off the bench in the last 20.
And Moses Sorobi also doing a warm-up here. And, you know, the interesting thing about him is with the Australians playing into the wind, Sorobi's more of a running halfback. He's got an excellent distribution game, but...
that's a penalty to Australia, so they draw a scrum penalty there.
Yeah, the Australians really have had the ascendancy in the scrum this afternoon.
Well, they did on Tuesday night as well. It was impressive stuff.
Yeah, I think the key to that is seeing that their back rowers are working. They're really scrummaging hard. So, you know, that it's a lesson to young back rowers. You know, scrum first is a key. If they can do that, support their second rowers and their props, you know, having a strong platform to attack off is really important.
Well, we all know second rowers don't push. So you've got to have your back row in there, don't you?
I'm not prepared to tell any second rowers that.
Of course, this Wallaby side, proudly supported by BMW.
There's Wright again in the lineup.
As the ball comes off now. Oh, look at that, Juiced. He's away, Juiced. He goes away from his support. Oh, he's clipped in the end. Still standing, though.
He's got an offload away.
So ball comes now to Mason. Mason with a chip over the top. Here comes Kennywell. And Lowe does well to get it. Yeah. Lowe now has plenty of space. Lowe, he's running. He has support. He finds it. Ledger can't get a ball to Barrett. And Fox comes across. Barrett cleans out well, though.
Oh, Taylor was in the way there. He's lucky not to be penalised.
He just ducked out of the way, so the ball goes wide now. It's Almer on the far side. Still going. So now it's end-to-end stuff here.
And look at the width that the New Zealanders have created in their game now. They've really...
Perafita slices them up. Oh, and the ball's knocked on. Mason now. It's exciting stuff here at Bond University. The crowd's up. Maddox kicks it downfield away from the big number 4, Strange.
He's leading the chase line. That ball's
set
up.
Look at Maddox.
Exceptionally well.
He's done well. They have support there,
back
though.
To his feet. He's slowing it down. The Australians here, if they have a crack here, they could really turn this ball over. No, they've been smart.
As we see now, Kennywell comes back.
Sean Paranihi, the prop who's just come on about to carry the ball now. That was incredible work by him to get back and support that kick through, that kick chase. He worked from the middle of the field all the way back, got his body over the ball, and it meant the Australians couldn't turn it over.
And here they come. Oh, that's a drop there by Lowe. Referee says it goes back, though. Barrett does well to clean out again. Very strong at the breakdown is Barrett. Here's Strange.
The Australians are starting to contest more at ruck time.
Oh, coming through there.
And the New Zealanders don't have a body over the ball at the moment, which is really exposing them.
So Knox on the field as well for the New Zealand side.
Yeah, very good halfback out of Northland. Knock, his old man was a very good footballer as well, and he will add a bit of width to their passing game.
Here comes Maddox again, quickly on the toe. Oh, it's a terrible kick. Oh,
Justin,
he can't do anything.
He can't do anything.
I called it horrible, but in the end it did all right.
It wasn't pretty, but it was pretty all right.
Replacements for New Zealand. Number 16, Asafo Almua is on, and number 21, Sam Knott.
So Leota comes on the field.
It was the first time we've seen really in this game that Nick Juiced is taking the line on directly at 12. Because he's been playing off, and they've been using Tuipulotu a lot, it actually opened the space up for him. So that's now going to make the New Zealand defensive line start thinking a little bit now. They've got two big centres running at them rather than just one.
So Leota comes on to take over the good work from Rodder. To the Australian side, the ball goes wide. There's a bit of space there. And the space opens up. Chipping over the top Sorovi's there. It bounces at the right angle. He does well, goes over the ball. Knock on. It looks like New Zealand may come up with it. There's no one there for Australia.
New Zealand have attacked that ball, but I think the Australians have got bodies past it in the end. Sorovi's got the ball in hand now.
Sorovi gets a nice ball back to Juiced. And Juiced with a nice high kick towards the sideline.
Yep, it's been touched there, so they can't use the quick throwing.
Doesn't find much ground on it, though, there, Juiced. So the pressure will be on the Aussies here. It's 22-3.
After all this, I'd reckon Mac Mason would probably want that chip kick back from about 5 minutes ago. They really had the New Zealanders under pressure, and I think he thought Kennewell was further up than he was, pushing that chip through. If he just maintained possession, held the ball, worked hard, I think they would have. There were a big chance of scoring in the right-hand corner.
So they don't contest. It's very flat there from the halfback Knock. Ledger forced to clean up the scraps. Knock again. Perifetta. He's dangerous. He gets a ball to Barrett on the outside. And they're going to go over. Are they? No.
Yeah,
yes,
they are.
Great finish there. Bodies in motion, and they look very good attacking the line. Straight direction there, Mike. And that's a good try.
Yeah, the key to that really is one of the simplest parts of the game. That's draw and pass. You know, the New Zealanders getting their depth right. They control their foot speed, and then just running dead straight, draw the man, pass, and put the ball in the corner.
The man on screen, McKenna, he scores. He's had an up and down game, but that certainly has put them back in this match here, the New Zealand side. There's almost 60 gone in the match, so 20 to go.
Yeah, it's the first time we've really seen New Zealand get into their shape, use it comfortably, set ruck in the middle of the field, turns a couple of Australian bodies in, then they get the offload, Barrett comes through, draw and pass, and then he backs up on the inside. The simplest of tries. Well done.
It certainly was. Well worked. Big Sam Caird, he's a massive man, isn't he? The lock for New Zealand. This is a pressure kick for Barrett.
20 minutes to go. This is going to be a very interesting final 20 minutes.
Coming out to pressure.
Yep.
But he makes no mistake of it, so the score, 22-10.
Well, I think the New Zealanders have exploited the wind as well as the Australians did in the first half. They've been smart with it. It is difficult to exit. It's probably stronger than you think, especially when you throw the ball up high. And they will keep, I think, trying to use these corners of the field, this ground with a big camber, pushing the Aussies into the corners and making it hard to escape.
Vui comes on the field as Sione leaves the field. He's had a good game. Been in everything. Almost a knock on there. They pick and drive the New Zealand side.
Yeah, the Australians actually created a turnover there, and then it was knocked on straight away, I think, by Vunipola Fafita.
He's really lifted now. McCarley too. There's the little box kick from Knock. Comes through Maddox. The lights are well and truly on now, and that's a long kick again by Maddox towards low. McKeaney has it. Puts it on the toe. Maddox well placed again, though. Well positioned. What's he going to do? They're going to counter-attack. They go to Mason. Mason searches for some pace.
Yeah, so the New Zealanders are set now on the right-hand side, so they've used the ball.
Barrett with an ugly-looking kick towards the touchline.
The Kiwis actually had stretched the Australians there. If Barrett had looked up, they had numbers right down the left-hand side. All they had to do was look up, spread the ball. They'd pulled at least one of their centres back into the left-hand side of the field. If they'd gone left with two long passes, they really could have put Australia under pressure.
Certainly that try has shown this New Zealand side. They look more composed now with Knock and Perifetta on the field here, Mike.
Yeah, Knock's just giving a little more width in the passing game, and it just puts them outside that first sort of line of Australian defenders in their back row. Another good throw by Australia. Great jump by Rob Leota in the first.
Fox. Oh, sorry, it was Mac Jones. Goes behind him, so pressure here for the Australian side as the captain won't be happy with that one.
Well, this will be interesting. Australia's changed two of their props. They've still got Josh Taylor in the middle. New Zealand have changed both of their props, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I have seen that Sean Paranihi has come on the field for New Zealand. Outstanding young prop from Canterbury. I think originally he was from Western Australia.
Yeah, moving over there. At a fairly young age, I guess.
Now calling Canterbury home.
Maybe we might see him in Force colours in years to come. They go short side. There's trouble.
There's Paranihi now. He's carried the ball forward.
Yeah, nice.
New Zealand's have got attacking options on both sides, but they've committed, so they're going to use their pick and drive game, see if they can suck Australia in. So far, Australia holding firm. One-on-one tackles are the key here.
Yeah, good driving run there. As not calling his forwards in. They're going to play at the Australians here. Picking up again is it Johnston.
Now they've got Barrett. They've got Barrett up against Harley Fox on the right-hand side, and they've got Ledger on the left-hand side looking at playing second receiver.
They're going to go again. This time Zaumua. You see Juice going to the right there.
Yeah, he's just rebalanced the defence.
But here's the big... Oh, it's been knocked out. Makali Tui, knock on.
Great defence by Australia. Really getting off the line. Vunipola Fifita. That's a big hit by him. Just got underneath the ball and lodged it loose.
He certainly had a lot of impact last week when he came, on Tuesday night when he came to the field for Fifita. And again, a big tackle there and a big moment for the Australian side.
Yep, Vuni Fifita out of Newington College in Sydney. 2 years Australian schoolboy and a fantastic young man.
Special shout out to Brad Gill out there overseeing the program. Merriweather Carlton, great Brad Gill.
Yeah, Gilly. He's one of the best men in Australian rugby, Australian schools rugby, that's for sure.
Oh, little knock on, yeah, definitely it was there. So, right call by the referee, Graham Cooper. Hasn't made too many wrong ones today, which is always a pleasure to see that from the referees. As Sorovi feeds it.
There's your
answer.
There's
pressure.
Yeah, there's your answer in terms of the scrum. Sorovi barking them on. The scrum's holding firm so far. The Kiwis are really putting some pressure on the side
ball
now.
Comes out. Maddox has it, and he goes to the boot.
That's a long kick into this, Sadly. That's an outstanding kick.
McKinney has it, though. They have a good chance to counter. He runs into Sorovi. Kennerwell round the boots.
Kennerwell just committed too early. He had a chance to really make a dominant tackle there. He just committed too early to it. The Australians
They're flat.
got
That's a
lines
poor
through the
ball.
field. Oh, great feet. Fantastic feet there by the big man.
Hamua it was, the replacement. Here he is again. Makali Tui's come on.
Yeah,
Leaps and bound, hasn't he, in the second half?
Harley Fox did great work just slowing that ball down there, so it allowed the Australians to get set in the middle of the field.
Oh, the quick tap taken by Knock. He gets a ball away. Amua. He's rounded up. The Australians just hanging on here.
Yeah, Knox added some real spark to this Kiwi attack. You know, very similar player to Aaron Smith. Very, yappy and aggressive around the base. Always looking for those little snipes. Always looking for those little taps. He was outstanding for the New Zealand school side in 2014 in Wellington, playing at Porirua Park. And he's really added something to this afternoon.
Well, there's 15 minutes remaining here. 22-10 the game. Well and truly in the balance. Australia just hanging on here, the 20s. Some familiar faces on the screen there. I believe that was your family up the end there, having a jump around there, Mike.
Were they having a wrestle, were they? It'd be unusual for my boys.
So Knock with the ball.
I'd like to say my two boys are good Wallaby supporters, but unfortunately they're both born in New Zealand.
Oh, Knock, he's close and he's over! What a try! Knock, he stepped away. Take nothing away from big Makali Tui. He stepped away, set them up, and that's a good try.
Knock, he's just that electric. He's good on his feet, plays really direct. He's got a fantastic passing game, and he's really added something to this New Zealand side this afternoon. He's cementing his spot. He wants his ticket to the World Cup.
He sure does. He's come on and he's been everything, including the difference here.
What you can see here is that the New Zealand 7 just ran a really, really good blocking line. So the New Zealand 7 there, so that's Dalton Papali'i. He just runs a fantastic blocking line on his opposite number that allows Knock to get straight through. That way Harley Fox can't get off the scrum quick enough, and it's just a one-on-one with Sorovi, and Sorovi wasn't good enough to get him.
So Barrett now. Chance to get them within 5 points here. Comes in, hits it. And no mistake there. So you see the bench is happy. And half the crowd's happy here as well. 22-17 the score.
12 minutes to go. It's it's one of those things that the New Zealanders, they were under pressure early, but they played smart. Australia's taken an early kick-off.
Yeah, short.
Oh, that's a knock-on.
That's a knock-on. Yes, it is. He got a call from the touch judge, the referee, Graham Cooper. So now, can the Australian side, can they hit back?
And to be honest, that was Tuitama, and that was just laziness. You know, he had the ball covered. There was no real pressure. He just had to bend his knees, make sure he watched it into his hands. He had a little look where the Australians were coming from, and in the end it resulted in a knock-on. Now the Australians get an excellent attacking position.
22-17 the score. The Australians
Another full-time score from Brisbane.
inside the 22.
24 defeated East 21.
I don't think Coach Scotty Robinson would be very happy with that.
As laid back as he is, he's probably pulling a few hairs out as we speak.
I think Scotty's laid back about everything but rugby.
So we see Sorovi now. Feeds the ball, so you see Wright really getting into it on this close open side, the breakaway, calling his scrum through.
Yeah, the Australian back row are really adding a dimension to this scrum.
Picked up off the back. Sorovi, gets it to Fiddick. Nice ball. Wrapped up, though.
And that's the advantage, Joey Fiddick. He's so quick on his feet.
Here's Mason, long ball. It's been intercepted. There's daylight in front of him. He's still going. Jonah Lowe, he's going to go the length of the field and score under the posts. What a try!
You know, it was Jonah Lowe who came out of the line the first half for the intercept that led to Australia's first try. Australia went to exactly the same play. Jonah Lowe had another crack, and this time it came off for him.
Second time lucky for Lowe. And look at him go. Wow, he certainly opened up. They were never going to catch him once he got hands to that ball there.
Yeah, and that's the challenge. You know, it's playing wide like that with long passes against a flat rushing back line. You always expose yourself to those intercepts. The other side of it, though, is if Lowe had missed that, it was in under the post for Australia.
Yeah, definitely. And Barrett straight in front. You can only imagine he'll get this over with his eyes closed. As we look at the replay here, and Mason tried with all good intents and purposes and just couldn't get there. And our cameraman, he was going that fast, couldn't keep up with him.
As you can see, if they just hit the short ball,
boom.
Yep. If Maddox had run the short line there, with Lowe coming out, if he just changed his angle, run a sort of a slight unders line, he would have picked that up, gone straight under the post untouched.
So New Zealand now in front for the first time today here at Bond University. There's less than 10 minutes remaining here.
Coach Adrian Thompson asked him this week for more effort, more execution, and this is what they're looking for now.
This is what makes a man.
I think we'll see a little bit more kicking from the New Zealanders now, trying to pin the Australians in their own half.
I think we'll see a bit more of this, some running. Sorovi gets it under heaps of pressure.
Oh, well
just
done.
Panicking there, yeah,
Put
nice
his body
work.
on the line.
Tuipulotu just gets it. They're playing wide. Sorovi getting it to Fafita.
Rob Leota just hasn't had the same punch that Isaac Rodder did in that first half. You know,
Juice is in trouble here. Good defence by New Zealand there. They're up in their faces now. They've come to life under lights here at Bond University. There's Leota again.
That's his first strong carry of the night. He hasn't had the same impact in terms of getting bodies through the line as Isaac Rodder did.
Here's Harley Fox. Harley Fox does well. Jinx for a big man. Sorovi, Maddox. It's short side play here. Tuipulotu taken nicely though.
You just need to speed that ball up. That's too slow. Sorovi should have cleared that ball early. It allows the Kiwis to set and get their line speed working again. The Australians just lost 5 metres.
Well, haven't they what? Their line speed certainly is working now. It hasn't been here all game. But with 8 minutes remaining, Sorovi dancing. No options from Sorovi. Scott Young gets it under immense pressure.
The Australians just got to calm down here. They're just starting to panic a little bit. They've got to get the game back under control.
Oh, going through the other side.
Shambek-Lavui.
Vui. What a run there. So now the Australians attacking. Going to have to get this ball back here. They've turned it over. Unlucky there, no one was there. He surprised himself. Mike.
Dan Beckler-Vui out of Ipswich Grammar School.
Oh, the stepping there, Perifetta. Here he comes. The crowd goes up. Oh, Barrett goes without it. So now Australia have the ball back. This is an exciting closing period of this match here, Mike.
Yeah, end-to-end stuff. And again, I think that the way that the New Zealand 20s are playing, very similar to Crusader-style rugby, very similar to Canterbury-style rugby. Keep stretching, keep forcing decisions out of the defence, and then when you get through in behind, try and use your offloads, keep them under pressure. If one of those offloads sticks, they haven't really stuck yet tonight. If they do, it's under the
Mason Emerson is on the field.
So Mason Emerson comes on the field for New Zealand as well. And we saw him play the other night. He is lightning, he's electric. And he's not what you want coming on. 2 points down, 7 to go.
Yeah, the Australians haven't used Amu Tuimailele Gafano yet. He's a very good power winger, very similar to Simon Kennewell. It'll be interesting to see if they inject him. They're using Joey Feddick a lot more now that the defences are starting to tire. Joey with his fast feet. The Australians' scrum is still holding firm. They've just stood up a fraction.
There.
Yeah.
And it's out. Looks like New Zealand have it, do they?
Well, I think the Australians have got it.
They only just got it.
Yep.
Skin of their teeth. Scott Young comes over.
Oh,
Leota with a speculator. Mason forced
well
to
done,
go
Mason.
into contact.
Well
Gets
done.
a few metres there. Sorovi's at the back.
Yeah, penalty there. The New Zealand player never got to his feet. He never released the player on the ground. He just dove over. Once you've got 4 points of contact on the ground, you've got to roll away.
Less than 6 to go now here.
And this will challenge the Australians' mental fortitude. What have they got in the tank? Well, if they get to this point in the World Cup in a month's time in Manchester, what have they got to do? How can they ice the game?
There's 2 points in it here. The crowd on its feet. It's intense at Bond University.
And where they've had the most success this afternoon, I think now they've got to go back there, and that is using Juiced as a distributor, hitting Tupelo to a little bit wider, Tupelo linking with Maddox, and that's been the way they've been most effective in terms of breaking the line. It's putting the most pressure on that New Zealand defensive 13 region.
Taking their time here, Taylor. Young Josh Taylor. He's had a good game.
That's a great throw.
Oh, goes off the back, and New Zealand come up with a Jacobson. Big smile on his face, Ledger. Barrett has it now. Getting it now to Lowe. Lowe. He's taken down, back to Barrett.
There's that offload game. Off the ground, just chose his moment.
Comes now, Knock. Gets it wide. Here's Caird. Caird taken down. Knock goes to the left. Barrett steps. They're close. They're within 5. They go. Goes over the top of Lowe.
Yeah, and the Australians
Squandered.
Again, what the Australians have done really well tonight is when they've been under pressure in their scrambling D, they've held their shape. They haven't panicked. They haven't closed in on the ball. They've just held their shape, and they've forced some interesting decisions out of the New Zealanders right around the edge of the ruck when they're in that red zone.
So there's less than 4 minutes remaining.
Sham Beckler-Vui here must stay down. He's got to stay down. The last scrum, just when the pressure came on, he just hinged and stood up a little bit. He's got to work hard off his outside foot and stay down.
What can they conjure up here, the Australian side? They've got 100 metres to go.
Yeah, I think if they bounce to a Pelotu, hit Maddox, and try and get Fiddick one-on-one.
There's 3.5 remaining. Good scrum again by the Australians. It comes back. Juiced has it, steps. He'll take one. As they come back now, Mason looking for it.
Just too slow.
They go back now. Oh, Kennewell forced to kick. It's a poor one. Now Lowe gets it back to McKeaney.
The Australians haven't got width in their defensive
There's
line.
no width at all. Oh, coming.
Joey Feddick, outstanding decision to come in and chop that player.
Yeah, they know he's dangerous there, Emerson. Jacobson now takes him forward. So New Zealand.
Oh, that's a knock on. Well done, Australia. Josh Taylor's picked that up.
It's exciting stuff here as Sorovi gets a kick down the field. Maddox comes through. He's been taken out, though, in play. Almost going behind his player there, Barrett.
Yeah, they've got him under pressure here. If they can
Lots
make
of
the tackle.
pressure. And they do make the tackle. Fox, he's on the ball. He's cleaned out, though.
The Australians now have got to get the defensive line sorted. Oh, that's a poor kick.
Perifetta. And here
Mac
comes
Mason's
Mason. Mason inside. Scott Young. He's a bull terror.
They can't panic here. They've got to maintain their composure, get back into their shape and work hard, Australia. The Sorovi's just got to speed this.
And there he goes. Sorovi gets through. Oh, he's knocked it on.
Yeah.
Sorovi unlucky. Got through. Nearly got the arm free. And Tui Paluto just wasn't there to collect.
There's been opportunities for Sorovi tonight to clear the ball quickly and continue the pressure that they've been applying to the New Zealand defence. Instead, either it's miscommunication or he's just having a little bit of a look. He's got to get that ball back into play. The New Zealanders are scrambling well, but I think if the Australians can play faster like they were in the first half, they'll get some joy. They've got to do it quickly. There's only a minute and a half to go.
A minute and a half remaining, as you mentioned. They're going to have to put the pressure on the scrum here. As we see, Amua, he's down, getting some receiving some attention. The old front rowers club. He'll fit in well.
Yeah,
Asefo Amua is the injured player for New Zealand.
They've slowed the game down. They've got some messages out there. So back on the field now.
Message in a bottle.
The Australians have got to go hard after this scrum. This is their opportunity. They've probably been the dominant scrum this afternoon. They've got a prop who's coming up. He'll be thinking about how that feels, that he'll be sore. I think the Australians now have got to take this opportunity. They've got to try and win a scrum penalty here, and either take the points or keep them under pressure.
There's a minute and a half remaining. 24-22 in favour of the New Zealand 20 side.
This is where Taylor's really got to work hard with his props. He's got to promote through the loose head side and work really, really hard. They've done well. They've got a good push on initially. But here he's got a good hook.
They ended up getting in that man, Makali Tui. He's been so strong in this second half for the New Zealand side. Coming back now.
New Zealanders have gone into their slow shape, just slowing the ball down, working the clock.
So the official time is 2 minutes from now. Oh, the Australian side jumped the gun a bit there. Nice work by Knock. It hasn't found touch. Fiddick feeds Maddox. Kennywell's there. They look for him. Oh, gets a nice ball away. Tui Paluto. He steps around. He's run out of room though as Maddox cleans out. They get there. Kennywell. Sorovi gets it now. Mason to Scott Young. He's been everywhere, Scott Young.
Against Sorovi, just that 1 second too slow. Release the ball.
Here's big Leota. Leota, he's held up. Strong in defence there, the New Zealand side.
Rob Leota's worked his way to ground there. There was a danger of being turned over. They're looking for the pick up through the middle again.
The counter-rucking by New Zealand was there, though. Fox forced to pick up. There's no one there.
They're actually looking for the same plays they had before. Shane Beck-Lavouille tried to pick the ball up in the middle of the ruck.
We can see Maddox wide. They go again. Good control play by Australia here. Bond University. It's lighting up here, literally. They go again through Fafita. Fafita takes some good meters.
Now they've got 4 on 3 on the right-hand side.
They go to Mason. Mason to Maddox. Maddox, he's close. He's not there. They consolidate the ball. They need quicker ball.
It's just too slow. They've got to keep working now. Now they've got to stay composed.
They go again. They're close.
They can muscle this ball over the try line, but they've got to stay there.
Fox.
Apparently he's working hard on the edge for the New Zealanders. Good little plus ball.
Oh, could be a turnover here.
No,
they get the ball back nicely. Sorovi, they'll suck a few in here. They go again, the Australian side. They're close. You can see the bench. And that is a penalty. What do you do here? Do you take the points?
You've got to take the points here with 6 seconds to go. Mac Mason, he's been kicking well all night. You've got to back his right foot now.
He's going to go for the shot. Mason, this is the stuff dreams are made of in this Oceania 20s fixture.
Mac Mason, vice captain here. He captained Anglican Church Grammar School to a GPS premiership here in Brisbane. He's actually out of Downlands College initially. So he's a Toowoomba boy. He's used to these sorts of conditions. A little bit of wind, a little bit of cool. He's under pressure.
He's composed. He's very composed under pressure, Mason.
But this is what they need. They need this before the World Cup. If they get in this situation, they need to have been in this situation. They need to have been here before.
So 24-22. The clock has run out of time here. He's got the ball set. The crowd is hushed. He comes in. He hits it, and he has nailed it! Australia win the match here on the bell. It is 25-24. The bench runs out on the field, and the crowd is in ruptures here. What a game.
What an outstanding game of rugby we've seen this afternoon. Both sides throwing everything at each other. The New Zealanders came back from a long way back. They really put some pressure on Australia, but in that last 2 minutes, the Australians showed a lot of composure. They worked hard away. They drew the penalty. Apparently, he just got offside right on the edge. It was a fairly simple penalty for the referee, and one of those frustrating ones for coaches. You've just got to give it that extra 30 centimetres. You can't creep up on the edge. And in the end, Mac Mason, cool as you like, knocked it straight down the middle.
And the crowd is chanting. Everybody's happy. And look at this. They're all into it here. Scenes are ecstatic. The bench was cleared. That is good fight, and that is good spirit shown by this under-20 side, which will leave them in good stead for this 20s World Cup later in the year, Mike.
Yeah, I think the bloke who jumped up the highest there was Sam Scott Young, and he may have been leading the cheers. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. He has got the biggest smile on his face at the moment.
Well, his son, for me, I think he's got to win man of the match. He was everywhere.
Yep.
He saved a lot of tries, a lot fell on his shoulders. Mason kicked the goal in the end, but you've got to give it to the forwards. I think Scott Young was man of the match there today, Mike.
Yeah, Scott Young, Rodder, and Harley Fox when he came on to replace McCauley. Those guys really set a platform for the outside backs. The big ones for me, the guys who are unsung this afternoon, but the front rowers. The front rowers really, they did not yield for even once they replaced the two props and Josh Taylor in the middle. They just kept the scrum going forward. They kept the New Zealanders under pressure. And that probably laid the platform at the end. So an outstanding performance by both teams, but well done to the Australians.
Well, the series is level. They lose on points, unfortunately, Australia, but they can take everything out of that match. It had everything in it. So the final score, Australia 25-24. Thanks for joining us, Mike. It's been an absolute pleasure having you next to me here, keeping me warm in the Bar TV commentary tent.
Thanks very much, Gath. We'll look forward to seeing you up here on the Gold Coast anytime soon.
Well, I'm always up for a suntan, of course. If you do want to get in the game, support our broadcast partner, Top Better, and Bar TV Sports. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and of course Twitter. And of course check out Oceania Rugby, doing everything to support rugby in the Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, all around the Pacific, Fiji, Papua New Guinea, New Caledonia, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Tahiti, Tonga, Wallis, Fuchana, and Vanuatu. All getting great things out of Oceania Rugby. Check them out on everything social. Oceania Rugby. It's been great tuning in. I'm Gareth Wozniak. Thanks for joining us at Bar TV Sports. Tomorrow we'll be live from the Country Championships in Armidale. And I'll see you next time.
Test.
Everybody got what they needed, Chad?
Yeah. So we'll get team photo.
We'll do the cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll just do that whole message.
Around. Yeah.
I'm good at that too.
Yeah.
Between us.
Yeah.
Here you go, dude, bro. Thought you footy boys wanted to have a little throw around the office.
Really?
Foul shot. Foul shot. Pretty cool boss, huh? Probably going to start calling me the man. The man. The man. Catch you in 20, brah.
Real guys, real sport, Bar TV.